What's up, everybody? Today I'm sitting down with Mr. Phillip Perkins, and we're going to talk about the future of Fighting 7 coming up on June 6th here this Friday at 4th Street Live. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm great. I've seen you out and about at some of these local events, and I've been blessed with the opportunity to come out, and I got to shoot some of Future of Fighting 6 at the African American Heritage Center, or Kentucky Center for African American Heritage. You guys put on a great show, man, and that show in particular was a really nice and crisp show. All the staff was very nice, just a great bunch in general, and I was really glad to get to come out, and I'm really excited to come out to 4th Street Live this week. Before we get into that, though, I know you've been on the side sign and graphic business, as well as you've got your Area 502 gym, you're running Future Fighting, and you've got many, many other things. But can you give everybody just a brief overview of what you do and kind of your history in the martial arts?
Yeah, I'll try to make it brief. I've been training mixed martial arts for near 20 years. And I started coaching a little bit around 2009, 2010, just like helping beginner classes, nothing big. And shortly after, started coaching more and more fighters. Then by 2013, I opened Area 502. So with mixed martial arts, which we put out a lot of fighters over the last 12 years since we've been open. And probably the most consistent place to put out fighters. Pretty much every show that comes to the city, if we don't have 4 or 5 people on there, it's kind of weird. We always have at least 2 or 3. So had Area 502 open for 12 years. We have a sister school in Clarksville, Indiana called Full Moon Martial Arts. I'm 50% owner of, along with Chuck up there. And that's what most of my background comes from there. I've coached everything: boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, of course, MMA. I've coached bare knuckle boxing. I think the only coach that's coached every combat sport here in Louisville. So a lot of experience coaching combat sports. And Future Fighting came along with about 2 years ago. We were at a local show, and the lights went off in the middle of the show. And I just was like, man, our guys can't be doing this. We need something better to fight at than this. So I was talking to one of my guys. We decided to start our own show. Started a show called Future of Fighting, and the rest is kind of history. We're on our 7th show, partner with 4th Street Live. And yeah, we put on a hell of an event, man. Hard Rock's the matchmaker. He's been making matches around here for 20 years-ish. And he knows his stuff. We know how to put on a good show. And so now we have a good production with good media here in Louisville. Louisville's only homegrown MMA show. I'm very proud of that. And putting on a good show for the fighters to showcase their skills, get some eyeballs on them, and give back to the city. We always donate to the city, and we try to give back to our sponsors. And so we got a pretty good thing going up there at Future of Fighting.
Speaking of Hard Rock, I was just at his show a couple days ago, HRMA 125. It was a great show. He's always got some good matchups. I like his matchups. They always seem fair. And so I want to talk a little bit about how do you balance your roles as a coach and then also being a fight promoter? How does that balance out for you?
I'm used to doing multiple things at once. Like you said, I have a sign company, and I always got a million things going, a bunch of ideas I'm always trying to run down. But the part you would think would be the hardest would be like picking the fights and then also having my fighters. But I don't worry about that. I have a matchmaker. I don't choose any of the fights. So really for me, all I do is make sure that the show goes on and we have a good show, and that the production's good, and take care of that side of it. And so it's a lot sometimes, but once the show starts, I don't worry about what's going on with the show. We have a staff to do that. I focus on coaching and just kind of turn off right when the show starts.
So what's one thing that people might not realize about the behind the scenes of building a card or making an event happen? What's something that the average person doesn't really get into to know what gets things going behind the scenes?
Yeah, it's a lot. I always knew there was a lot, but actually once you get into it, there's just a lot more in the logistics of it. And Yeah, it's a business, you know, it's a whole business in itself. Of course, it sounds easy. Oh, I'll put on a good show and we'll get a nice cage and we'll get people to fight in it, but you still got to put asses in seats, and it's a whole business, which to me, that's not a side I've ever worried about. I mean, we always try to sell as many tickets as we can, but my focus has always been 100% my fighters. So that is a little bit different, dealing with that. But yeah, you know, you got to put asses in seats for sure.
I've only been kind of following the local and regional scene here in the last couple of years. It seems to be growing pretty fast from what I can tell, and you yourself are a contributing factor in that. What goes into kind of growing the promotion on like the marketing side? What does get people in the seats, in your opinion?
Fighters building their brand, putting on a good show, having a good venue. Those are all things that go into it. I've been around doing this for a good amount of time. MMA, when I started, even though it wasn't as popular, it was pretty booming around here. There was a lot of gyms. They were fighting a lot. People fought against each other. There was a lot of professionals. Um, and then it was like that for a while, and then it kind of went dead for a couple of years. There was a couple of years where I felt like we were the only main gym that would have a handful of guys on every card. And they went through a time, MMA even went through some rule changes and some different things. And then it started to make a comeback, and as well as boxing after Muhammad Ali passed, unfortunately. Boxing did start to make a comeback around that time too. MMA seemed to pick up around the same time. I don't think it's related, but about the same time seemed to pick back up. We had Corona hit, you know, and then after Corona, it seems like it was a hit, but then things boomed for MMA gyms, for MMA. And within the last 5 to 7 years, I feel like in Louisville, we've seen a bunch of gyms not pop up, but MMA fighters pop up and them have MMA programs, and a few new places pop up. And yeah, it's growing. I think it's great too. I think high tide raises all ships. I think we need the fighters. I think we need the more gyms. There's plenty of people to go around for every gym, so there's no worries about that. But we need it. I was sitting at dinner with my wife the other night. We were sitting at Steak and Bourbon downtown, and you look across, and on the casino, you could see it was like a flyer or a promotion for the Roy Jones Jr. fight. It had the young boxer from outside of Louisville was the main guy they were promoting. He used to, sorry, I can't remember his name. He used to train at our gym too with Coach Aaron, but I saw him up on a boxing poster or a billboard, like the digital billboard on the side of the casino. And then we get in the car and we're driving, and then you see LFA up on the side of a building and a digital billboard. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. We're on our way to 4th Street. We get to 4th Street. There's our ad up on a digital billboard in 4th Street on the Jumbotron. And it just made me think, like, wow, you know, it's 3 digital billboards at 3 different combat sports events around in the city. That has not happened before. It's never been like this. So we're on to something here. UFC come here, sold out the Yum Center. LFA come here, they decide to come back with the next year, which obviously shows something. Future of Fighting, we're doing a good thing. Got Hard Rock down south and Bowling Green and Shepherdsville. So you got a lot going on, a lot of quality mixed martial arts events, and I think it couldn't be better for everybody.
I agree. We kind of recently, like I said, got into the mixed martial arts, combat sports, watching, enjoying, fanship. And we had to go. Our first event that we went to was me and my friends. We went to the Columbus UFC card, and I was like, "Oh, they're never going to come close," you know. And then it wasn't a few months later. Oh, we're going to Louisville, and then we're coming to Nashville, and then we're going. It's just it's kind of surrounding. So we made sure to make the rounds, and that's when we got into kind of the more local and regional scene, because we were like, man, we love going. We just don't have enough shows close. And then we got to looking, and there are a lot of shows close, and so
yeah, that's the problem. There's so many UFC fans, you know, they're MMA fans, but they're UFC fans. They don't know that Future of Fighting's here. They don't know that Hard Rock's in Shepherdsville. So that's a big thing to us too, is getting out to those different crowds, letting them know we're here, letting them know, like, hey, you're the UFC fans, you don't know anybody in the UFC, and you go and you'll pay hundreds of dollars to go watch a jumbotron and not even be close to the fights, but you can't go right up to 4th Street Live and pay $50 to watch somebody that you might actually know or meet fight and be able to be 30 or 40 or 50 feet away, you know? So, um, it's mainstream. UFC is mainstream, but I don't think that MMA is as mainstream.
And you brought up a good point about like value for your money there. I was looking at your ticket prices earlier, and I mean, you get awesome view VIP tables for like a quarter of the price you're going to pay for any of like the nosebleed seats for the UFC or anything. And I think
Dude, our
that's
seats at
awesome.
this show, this is the coolest venue in the city. When I started this show, it was like a goal of mine. I never thought we would have been able to do it by the 4th show. But by the 4th show, we did 4th Street Live last September. Now we're back there again, partner with them to do 2 this year. And it's just, there's no better venue. It's outdoor but covered, very covered. And there, you know, the cool restaurants everywhere, the big jumbotron. So we do the weigh-ins on the stage with the jumbotron behind them. They'll get the walkout. We changed the walkout, so this time the walkout on the stage and down a ramp with the big jumbotron behind them, almost like a WWE walkout or something. Pretty cool. So yeah, 4th Street's just an incredible venue, and we don't. Our ticket prices are super competitive to others, and just a great time. I think one thing that makes us a little bit different is it's not just a fight. This is like a big party. You're at 4th Street. There's a live DJ playing good music. There's good food at multiple restaurants. There's craft drinks if you want them. There's, it's just kind of a different vibe. It's more of a party vibe with fights going on and a lot of things happening. But at the same time, every fight on the card is a solid fight. Um, Hard Rock did it again on this card. Literally every fight that he put together is an awesome fight. So I can't wait to see what happens with some of these fights.
Yeah, I've seen on social media you were doing the tours of the venue and stuff. So I'm glad you get to kind of give people a little taste of that before they go in. And going back to what you were saying about like people don't get to know these UFC fighters and stuff because they're just on such a big scale. If you start going to these local shows and stuff, you'd really get to meet and kind of get to be part of the event. And we've been doing um, mainly Hard Rock shows, but a couple of others, and your show with the Future of Fighting and stuff. And I know a lot of these people on this card, and I've like talked to them, and every time I see them, everybody always makes me feel like family, and it's awesome to go. And it's a really nice community, and I can't stress that enough to people I talk to. I'm like these people are so nice, and they get like such a like from an outside perspective, you might think all these people are like callous or hard because they're fighters or whatever, but these are some of the nicest people, some of the nicest staff. Just everybody's a really great kind of shepherd of the sport, and that's one of my favorite parts about getting out and getting to see the sport.
Yeah, it's a it's a cool culture. I mean, like anything, you got assholes in anything, any sport, any event, any place, But for the most part, it's good people, athletes, guys with goals, but their goals are in mixed martial arts. And a lot of people in the crowd and people involved, they train martial arts, they train jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing. They're involved in the sport some way or another, so they have respect for people, they have respect for the sport. And a lot of these places have been around. Hard Rock's been around for a long time, doing shows for a long time. He's got a heck of a crew because he's done it for a long time. I'm very blessed. We've only been around 7 shows, but I've been around the sport for a long time, and I just have an awesome group of people around me through the gym that, my team is very strong and everybody's good people around us. So I'm super blessed with that. That makes it a little bit, definitely saves me some trouble there. But yeah, it's a cool culture, and I do think that until you get out there and see it, you don't really know what it is. And that's the good thing about our show. I think it's a good way to open people's eyes. It's just a really good time and a party, so people can come for that reason, but then they're kind of, open their eyes to watching mixed martial arts and meeting some of the people.
I listened to some of your other interviews, and uh, of course, I get to witness it firsthand when you go to these fights. But you're a fighter first kind of guy, I think, and it shows in your production and obviously in your training. I got to sit and talk to Ed Suarez when he came down for the LFA promotion stuff, and they talked about how fighter first they were as well. And I see a lot of parallels between you and kind of the LFA. It seems like to me like the future of fighting is wanting to be for LFA what the LFA is to the UFC, where it's like a stage for these guys to get on and kind of prep themselves for like the real deal, and they're moving up, and it's a proper stage and experience throughout their career rather than just at the very top, you know. So is that how you look at it, or what is kind of your goal for the future of fighting?
Yeah, it was great having LFA come here last year. Got to hang out with Ed a little bit and just kind of make sure that future fighting could be a pathway to the LFA with them coming here for Louisville. And we're going to just keep doing what we can do to support them when they come here, put fighters on the card, go out to the shows, and hopefully keep them coming back. We do have one guy, Jeremy Bag Combination, Henry Bag Combo. He's our 145 professional champ, and he got a spot on the main card. So we're already starting to build that pathway, and with LFA coming through Louisville now, it seems like they're going to come back once a year, which is great. We can, make that even more accessible to the guys. Of course, they'll be able to get there without going through future of fighting, but what a good way to prove that you're ready, especially for the guys at the higher level like Bad Combo. He's got over 10 professional fights. So for him to be able to say, yeah, I'm the professional champion at future of fighting, that's a good segue to get your foot in the door.
Um, Talking about the production side of things, you guys ran a very smooth production at Future Fighting 6. That's the only one I've got to go to personally, so that's all I have experience with, but it was
Yeah.
very smooth. And I think leading into that, there was a discrepancy on one of the, like, there was a last minute change or a fight cancellation or something, and you guys handled that incredibly well. I know it's got to be incredibly frustrating for you guys and the fighters. And as a promoter and coach, how do you handle that if something comes up, even day of the event?
Yeah, so what that was Austin Green missed weight by 25 pounds for a heavyweight fight. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It was the main event. We flew his opponent in from Florida, and he showed up to the weigh-ins 25 pounds over, and then I guess expected his opponent to take the fight still, which his opponent thought about it, but at the end of the day thought it was just too much. He didn't even try to cut the weight and thought it was disrespectful, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. He got paid his show money, but he lost the chance to fight. He lost the chance to win his win money, and yeah, so it was bad look on Austin Green. Didn't even try to make weight for a big fight. And this was in March. We had them lined up to be the main event for the September card last year at 4th Street Live. And Austin pulled out a couple weeks before after we'd already bought plane tickets on that one too. So yeah, it's an unfortunate part. And that's, like I said, this is all new to me dealing with that part of it. I do know one thing, just I don't take it personal, obviously. I understand through business, I've done other businesses not to take it personal, but it's a pain in the butt when something like that, your main event, and they're both from out of town, so you lose all your day of ticket sales for them and all your day of pay-per-view sales, and it's a big hit. But at the same day, our job is to put on a good show. Like if I show up to work on your plumbing and I don't get paid enough, that don't mean I can leave your faucet leaking. I still have to do a good job. So even though we didn't get what we would have liked to have got on the ticket sales, my job or our job is to put on a good show. We do know that. So hopefully you guys shouldn't have been able to tell a difference on anything. I'm glad you mentioned it. And yeah, no matter what, we're going to put on a good show. We are for the fighters. I used to fight. My guys fight on this show. I didn't start a show because I wanted to be a fight promoter. I didn't start it for the money. I didn't start it for the reason I started fight promotion is because we needed a good fight promotion in Louisville. The only one coming through here. I'm not kidding. The lights went off in the middle of the fights. We were carrying chairs from the crowd in for corner stools. It was just, it got so bad to where I was like, what is this, 2005? Like, we got to get this figured out. And so that's literally the reason I started. I started for my guys and for all the other fighters around here. I've been in the game long enough to where of course, I'm partial. I want my guys to do the best and to beat everybody. But besides that, I want everybody to succeed. And I think that, the more that people from around here do great, it's just better for everybody. It's more eyes on us, and it's like a push for the other guys. Well, man, if he can do it, I can do it, and it's not a hate. You don't hate on him, but just use it as like inspiration. So we need that. But
I did want to mention, like you said, I mean, you couldn't tell if you didn't know going into it that there was supposed to be another fight. You wouldn't have known. Blake Alvey, I think, stepped up and they've made that main event just really pop there at Future Fighting 6. That was an awesome
yeah,
fight.
great fight. Blake Albee with a big win. He's trying to get 5 fights in this year. We had another guy pull off from him, pull off from this June 6th card. Couldn't get him on here. Shout out to Stacy Winters, who stepped up and took that fight on short notice and brought a war to Blake. And I'll be honest, going into the third, I was a little bit nervous on what might have happened if it went to the scorecards. Very back and forth fight. Blake was able to pull it out in the third and get the finish there in the third. So great fight. Good fight for Blake. He's got some big stuff ahead. We actually are just about to share it soon. We haven't posted it yet, but we picked up a fight for Blake in Key West on July 19th. So he'll be flying down there to fight for Mile Zero fights in Key West. We'll try to get him one more there and then get him on maybe September up here, get him a couple in before the end of the year and let him go pro. One thing about MMA is weird is like these guys go pro with like 5 fights or, even 10 fights. They're in such a hurry to go pro after 8 fights. And in my mind, I'm like, what sport do you go professional after you? What if you played basketball 10 times and then tried to go professional? What if you played baseball 10 times, soccer 10 times, any other sport in the world? If you went to them and said, yeah, I want to be a professional, they're like, well, how many games have you played? And you're like, 7. Any other sport in the world would laugh at you. Even boxing, boxers. I got amateurs in my gym just turning 18 years old, 40 fights, 70 fights. Unbelievable amount of fights. Kickboxers, Muay Thai kickboxers fight so many times. Jiu-jitsu athletes, imagine how many jiu-jitsu matches they do before they get into a pro jiu-jitsu match. MMA, 5 fights, 7 fights. If you've got 10 amateur fights, they act like you are so experienced. So it's been tough to find Blake fight. He's got 9 fights. We should be able to find him a couple amateur fights. We can't. It's getting tougher and tougher. So we're gonna go where we got to go to get the work for him, and then let him go off into the pro ranks here real soon.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I was talking to Todd Pickett, which is, of course, he fights with Hard Rock and different promotions around here. I think he fought with Made Men before, and now he's going into the LFA for this upcoming card on the 13th. But he's still fighting as an amateur and stuff, and I've watched him fight 2 or 3 times live, and I was like, man, you're killing it. And a lot of people would have already went pro by now, and going from like what you were saying, different sports. I've noticed that, like you said, a lot of these people don't have very many fights and they're going pro. So it was kind of always a question to me, like, why are they going pro so early? And so when I was talking to Todd about it, he kind of mentioned, like, he wants to get his reps in and stuff, which I appreciate, because I think that's how it should be. If you're going to be a professional in the sport, you want to be a professional at the sport, not just kind of experienced at the sport, I guess. But yeah, I think that's a really good point that these people come in a little too early.
Yeah, reps of everything. Your reps in the fight, of course. But reps, like you said, now he's fighting in LFA instead of Hard Rock, so reps at fighting at a bigger show. He needs to get those reps in. Then he might need to get on a plane and travel for an amateur fight, or drive somewhere where you're not the hometown guy. Get those reps in. Get a lot of reps in of everything. That way, when you go pro, nothing's new. Not as much as new. It's all familiar. Like that's one reason I take my experienced amateurs. Once they got so many fights, we'll take them. We'll get on a plane, go to Florida, find them a fight down there. Taking them to New York before. We'll find them in different states around here. But we try to tell you, if we're going to travel, we try to go 1, somewhere nice, but 2, somewhere with good competition. Not trying to drive to the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, no offense, and fight on the lower level shows. We want to get the good reps with the higher level competition. So yeah, I mean, I think he's on the right path. He's doing the right things, getting the extra reps. It'll show for him when the time comes.
I just wanted to quickly mention this because I forgot to when we were talking about ticket prices and stuff. I believe first responders get in free at this upcoming Future Fighting, right?
Yeah, first responders get in free. They got to get online by Wednesday or Thursday, and you go to the website, fill out a form. We'll send a QR code. Unfortunately, it's kind of tough to do it at the door because the people at the door they just kind of check the tickets and. But we're happy to get everybody locked in. We've had a good amount reach out already. We're able to get them some free tickets. And we just want to do something to give back a little bit. We do every show, but we thought we'd add that this show. We appreciate what they do. I know it's a tough job. So, yeah, we just want to do something small for them.
Also, just to mention, there's also a pay-per-view link, I believe. You can go on there if you can't make it to the fights in person. But in my opinion, you need to try to make it to the fights in person. But
yeah, it's better in person, but we do have a pay-per-view link. futureoffighting.com has all the information for the pay-per-view link, all the information for the tickets. We got VIP experiences for businesses and everything. It's just a good time. Like I said, we have a live DJ playing, sick music, not the normal stuff you hear up at a ball game. You're not eating hot dogs and chips. We got good food at these places, good craft drinks if you want them. If you just want some regular drinks, we got those too. The official after party is at Sports and Social Club, so everybody will go to Sports and Social Club after, have some drinks, get some food. They're also doing like a special pasta dish for the fighters if they want to eat after their weigh-in, so they don't normally have it on the menu, but they're going to do like a special dish for them so they can go carb up. And yeah, man, it's going to be a good time. I'm excited for this one. Hard Rock's got some great fights. We're ready to put on a good show. I got a couple of my guys on the card I'm really excited to see fight myself. We got Murat Muratov fighting again. This will be his third fight. Every fight he's had so far has been a war, and he's been able to come out ahead and just, even though it's been his first two fights, really show that he's a pretty skilled fighter. So I'm really excited to put him back to work and see if he can get the finish on this one. He got a real tough opponent coming down from Ohio, so it's not going to be an easy task, but I'm really excited for him on this one. We have one of my guys, Felix. Felix, it's his second fight. He got to finish his first fight pretty quick. He had a lower level opponent that was all we could get at the last minute, so he took it. But we got a tougher opponent coming up from Tennessee this time. Super excited. Felix is a very talented guy. So we're really excited to see where he's come after he's been taking his training much more serious for the last year. And the last guy from our gym fighting is Ruben Vargas. He's fighting Keston McLean. Keston McLean fights at 155, but he was our 170 amateur champion. Very decorated amateur, multiple titles, fights all the time, super solid fighter. Fighting Ruben Vargas from my gym, who's 1-1 pro, but he's been out for years. He's had a big layoff in MMA. I think 7 or 8 years since he's fought. But he's been training, of course. He trains hard. He competes in some like point sparring, karate stuff. So he's always staying active and just ready to get back out there and mix it up. So that's one of my like sleeper fights. I don't know if it's even a sleeper fight because everybody knows to watch for that one. But that's one of the ones that I'm like, hey man, keep your eyes on this fight because who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a few title fights on this card as well as a grappling match that started off. Your headlining is Dansby versus Mays. I've got to watch a lot of these guys fight in person. Mays, Travis Hudson, Aniset Nionishu, Jeremy Miramontes, Murat. And so many of these matchups are really exciting. Just those guys are killers. And even the people that I don't know on the card, I'm sure Hard Rock's matched them up with some good bouts. But you mentioned one, but what are some other fights on the card that people might be sleeping on, or some of your favorites that you're excited
about? The Miramontes fight, Miramontes and Munoz, Matthew Munoz. Matthew Munoz has fought for us 3 times, and he's a beast. He trains up in Indiana with the Bronx Hill guys. Those guys have been around for a long time, putting out good fighters, solid camp. And Miramontes is coming down from Nice Guy, and they always bring killers as well. High level jiu-jitsu, been putting out good fighters for years. So that's like a good amateur title fight, heavyweight with two solid guys from solid camps. So very excited for that one. Really, there's just a bunch of the fights. Pretty much every fight on the card. I'm not just saying that, but pretty much every fight on the card. When he sent it to me, I'm like, oh shit, that's a good one. Oh shit, that's a good one. So the whole card's stacked. We got 12 fights. We got one grappling match, but it's actually an exciting grappling match. And that don't happen too often. So you guys check out futureoffighting.com if you want to get more information on some of the fights and everything. Go to our Instagram at Future of Fighting MMA. We keep up pretty good on there with everything. And yeah, man.
All right. Well, everybody, if Phil, if you got anything else to end us with here other than that, or
No, just Future of Fighting at 4th Street Live Friday. The weigh-ins are the day before Thursday. The fighters need to be there at 3:30, but we do a live media weigh-in at 5:30 on the big stage with the Jumbotron. So we ask everybody to come down, support the fighters, support the show, support local MMA, support Louisville's only homegrown MMA event, support 4th Street Live, which is coming back to life, which is awesome for the city. Afterwards, you go to Sports and Social, grab you a nice pasta dish. That's also the official after party spot for the show. So make sure you guys come out to Sports and Social. Thanks to all of our other sponsors. We got a huge list of sponsors to help make it happen. Thank you guys all so much. I can't wait to talk about you guys at the event, dedicate a fight to each sponsor, and of course have all of our sponsors' logos up on the Jumbotron. So make sure you guys take a look and check them out. And if there's any of the services you could use from any of our sponsors, please follow up. They're all local. Support local businesses. Support your local sponsors. And futurefighting.com for tickets. And at Future Fighting MMA is our Instagram. And that's about it. I appreciate it.
All right, Phil. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. Can't wait to see the fights this week. Can't wait to get to meet you in person officially for the first time. And
yeah, man, come on out, hang out. We'll have a good time, brother.
I appreciate it. You guys go out and get your tickets and come down and support an awesome card, an awesome organization, and just local fights, the Louisville scene in general. MMA is growing, like we talked about. Thank you guys so much, and we hope to see you there.